In this video series, I'm going to show you how you can take advantage of the space on your existing hard drives. When you look at your computer, you'll see your hard drives on your computer or my PC or this PC if you're on Windows 10. And you see the size of them over here. So on this computer I have right now, it says C drive is 420 gigabytes. And then there's another one called D drive that's 30 gigabytes. And then, of course, down here, there's another drive, and this one is an external drive, but we're not concerned about that right now. Now, if I add these together, that's 450 gigabytes. This system has 500 gigabytes, so where's the rest? Well, it's still there. It's just that it's being hidden on us in partitions. So we can take control of our disk partitions, and we can use them to our advantage. Now I'm going to show you two different tools to use. I'm going to show you one that's built into Windows, and then I'll show you another one that I like to use that's a much better tool. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to do is have a look at what our hard drive actually looks like right now. So to do that, if you're using Windows 8 or Windows 10, just go down and right-click on the Start button. So right-click, and then when you're in here, you see different tools, control panel and so on. What we want is disk management. So click on that. Okay, and this shows us all the storage that's on our computer. Now, you can see it up here in this way, and you can see it along this side and below it. Let me just extend this a little bit here. Okay, so your drives will appear this way, and you can scroll up and down over here if you have more. Now you see the same information up here as well. So this is the drive that came with the computer, and you'll see that it is in several sections. You'll see our C drive is in this section, our D drive is in this section, but there are all these other sections. We have a 12 gigabyte recovery drive. We have 350 megabyte recovery partition, and we have a 1,000 megabyte recovery partition. So we have three different recovery partitions here. The other thing is that of this 30 gigabytes of this drive, there's only a small amount of it being used. So what we might want to do is take some space out of this one and put it in the main drive that we use over here. Again, this is a storage drive that came with the computer, and there's just some files in there for the Lenovo computer. So we can just shrink that down. There also may be some system files in there. Now you can do it with this program here, but it's a little more clunky. So I'm going to show in the next video how to use that other software. But while we're in here, I'll show you how you can do it with this one. So if we want to shrink this drive down, so what we would have to do using this software is shrink one drive and then put the space in over here. You can't do it in one step, and that's why I don't particularly like this. But if we click on this piece over here, you'll see that we can shrink the volume. Now once we've done that and we've shrunk the volume, let's just go in here and it'll bring up how much it's going to let us shrink it. So it says size of available shrink space is 6,058 megabytes. Now actually it's far bigger than that, but that's all that this program will let us do with it. So if I were to click shrink here, it would make this 6,058 megabytes unallocated. And then what we could do is go into this one, right click, and then we would be able to extend the volume. You'll see that it's blanked out right now because there's no free space, but that's what we would do, and then we could bring in the volume there. But we're not going to do that in this case because I'm going to show you a better way to do it later. Now let's talk about these recovery partitions. What you can do is create a recovery drive that like a USB stick, and then you can delete these and reallocate the space to your own system for your own use. Now, even if you're not going to do that, you need to make a recovery USB drive, because the problem with this, of course, is if you have a hard drive problem, you can't get into the recovery part that's on the hard drive. So it's kind of a catch-22. So what I'm going to show you next is how to create a recovery drive. And then in the next video, we're going to come back to managing our disk. But the first thing I want to do is make a recovery drive so that I can demonstrate that to you. So let's go, and I'll show you how to make a recovery drive right now. All right, so to create a recovery drive, what you want to do is be in the control panel. And then over here where it says search, just type in the word recovery. This is a lot easier than digging through the menus. You'll see over here, create a recovery drive. So let's click on that. Okay, and here it is. So what you need to do is make sure that you have a memory stick in your computer, and it needs to have at least 4 gigabytes for a 32-bit system, and you may need up to 16 gigabytes. I do on this system. So you may need a fairly large memory stick. Okay, and then you'll see here, backup system files to the recovery drive. Make sure that that is checked, because that's going to bring over all the files you need to do a complete restore of the actual system. Now, if you have had such a bad crash that you're using this, then or you have to actually reinstall the system, then of course you're going to lose everything. But there are other options on here, and I'll show you that. Okay, so let's go next. Okay, and then it goes and gathers the information. Now, here what it does is it shows you any drives that are available that you can use. And you just pick one, and then you continue, and it'll go ahead and make the recovery drive. Now this drive is going to be overwritten, so make sure you choose the right one and then click next. And that's all there is to it. It'll just go through and create a recovery drive for you. Okay, so simple as that. Make sure that once you've created that recovery drive, you put it somewhere safe in case you ever need it. All right, so in the next video, we're going to go into how to resize our drives using the free software that I was talking about.